It's about time we talk about episode 5 of Loki season 2 because that was mind-boggling. I was extremely excited about this episode because following episode 4 at the end of that with what looked like to be the MCU timeline basically exploding or resetting, I expected to see exactly what happened in episode 5, but we didn't really get that in my opinion. There's a lot of different stuff going on within episode 5. The time slipping came back, realities were falling apart. All the people who Loki knows and loves from the TVA just didn't know who he was except for Sylvie. So everything was all messed up as expected it would be, but it was really confusing because it was all over the place. Even though I was extremely confused throughout the episode, I even said at the end of our watch party here on YouTube, I need some time to think about this one before I film this review because that was just very, very confusing. And now that I've thought about it, I think this episode was a true transition for the character of Loki into the hero I think he's going to become in the MCU. It starts off with Loki going around to different timelines and collecting his friends from the TVA and just explaining to them, hey, this is what's happening and we need to save the TVA so that we can save the timelines. But then Sylvie confronts him with the question, are you doing this because the timelines are actually in danger? Or are you doing this because you're selfish? And he kind of came to the conclusion towards the end of the episode before he found out the timelines actually are in danger is maybe he was doing it to be a little bit selfish. And, you know, sometimes that's okay, but Loki eventually told them, hey, you're going to go back to where you're supposed to be and you can live your lives because I was doing this for selfish reasons. And that's a major shift from the character that we got in the first episode of season 1 of Loki. As confusing as this episode was, the character development for Loki himself was absolutely fantastic. Basically, that's everything that happened within the episode, just Loki really starting to develop into that hero that I think he's going to be. And he also gained control of his time slipping, so he can now travel past, future, present, wherever he would like to go at will, which is unreal. They're giving the God of Mischief the ability to manipulate time, which is awesome. I'm not gonna lie, this episode really threw me for a loop, and I mean I was very invested in it the entire time, don't get me wrong, and very entertaining, but oh my goodness, it was absolutely insane. I had to take the weekend at least to think about it, and I had an injury playing football and a lot of other stuff going on this weekend why I couldn't film, but oh my gosh, I really had to take the entire weekend to sit and think about this Loki episode just to film this review. After the development that Loki got in this last episode, with him being able to manipulate time at this point and really starting to become a good guy, Loki is becoming one of my favorite, if not my favorite characters in the MCU. Obviously, until they bring over like the X-Men and Deadpool, because then it might change at that point. But we'll see how Marvel handles those characters. But right now, I think they are doing a great job with Loki. Overall for this episode, I'm not going to give it the lowest score I've given, which was like 6 or a 7, but I am going to give it like an 8 because I don't think the episode is perfect. It was very confusing and kind of all over the place. I love that we got to see everybody's lives on the timeline and see what they were missing out on. Mobius missing out on children, which is very sad as a father myself, but at the same time, very confusing, all over the place, and seemed like they used an entire episode just to develop Loki's character, which is fine because the show is about him. But to progress the storyline would have been really nice and make it really clear what was going on, but very confusing. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Not perfect, but not bad whatsoever. I absolutely love this episode, and I cannot wait for the season finale this coming week. So make sure you're here on YouTube to watch it with me live. If not, you can always just go back to the VOD and watch that with me anyways. Let me know what you guys thought of this last episode of Loki down in the comments, and let me know if you're excited for the finale, or do you think this show is like many of the other MCU shows on Disney Plus, just really mid and awful. I appreciate you all for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.